Testing, testing. My mic working? Yes, it is. I can see it. Can I see it? Testing, testing. My mic working? Yes, it is. I can see it. Can I see it? Good evening, everyone. Hey, welcome into another the Confident Autistic Live, which is Ask the Confident Autistic anything related to autism and or self-confidence. It's December 12th, 2024. And I am here and I'm ready to get the evening going. I thought December 12th, December 19th. Yes. I'm a week behind. How could I forget it's the 19th? My birthday was 2 days ago. And or so, and it's amazing that it just slipped my mind. All right. So we now know the date. It's December 19th. And it's time for another one of these, the Confident Autistic Live. And this week's special topic is once again open Q&A for autistic adults on anything related to autism and or developing and discovering, developing, and growing your self-confidence as an autistic adult. There's a lot of great stuff out there for kids and for the parents of the children. There's not always a lot out there for us adults, and that's one thing I'm on a mission to change, to provide more resources and help connect autistic people to the resources that will help them become confident autistic adults. So, and okay. So anyway, that is what we're going to be doing tonight, and hopefully everything's working fine. It's been kind of a goofy internet lately, so we'll just see how things revolve and go through the evening. Let's start by taking a look at the videos that I posted to the channel while you start, filtering in, telling me where you're from, that you're watching, that kind of fun stuff. So let's review the last 7 days of videos. On last Friday, I posted a video of what to do when you are feeling more autistic. And this does happen. In fact, I just saw a little conversation about this in a autism group that I'm on Facebook. Especially when we age, this can happen anytime in our lives, and it usually is triggered by a lot of a lot of challenges in our life, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, uh, that making our life more difficult for us to manage and maneuver. So this does happen, but it's also common as we age that we will feel more autistic than we have in our younger years because life gets more complicated as we get older. There I am. Hi. So that was last Saturday's video. If you're not checked that out, go and check that out. And then on Sunday, I did how to handle, I'm sorry, that was last Friday. Last Saturday was how to handle hugs on the spectrum, or how to handle hugging on the spectrum. Some of us are huggers, most of us are not. I mentioned in the video that I'm not that fond of physical contact. I don't like it that much. I'm not 100% opposed to it, but I don't like it that much. Now, the flip side of that is I like it, like hugs and stuff from my wife, but other people or other physical contact from people that are not my wife, not that fond of. So I talk about that and talk about ways us autistic adults can handle when we're uh, in a situation where somebody is or wants to hug us. So it's a great little video. Then on Sunday, now I got the days of the week right. First I got the date wrong, now the days of the week. I know what I need for Christmas is a calendar. Okay, so on Sunday I did 7 common traits that are 7 common traits in autistic adults and why we struggle with them. I talk about some of the traits that are common and break down some of the thinking and the science behind why these traits are such a challenge for us. Very interesting video, and that was posted on Sunday. Then Monday, let me click over here. Monday, we talked about imposter syndrome and in autistic adults. And this is something we go through and we will ask ourselves, am I really autistic? Now, this more commonly happens when we're going through the part of our life where we first suspect that we're autistic. And when we're self-identifying as autistic, we start questioning ourselves, doubting ourselves, thinking, I've been reading a lot about autism. I'm beginning to understand it more. But am I really autistic, or am I playing or pretending to be autistic? And it's something that we all struggle with. And I discuss why we struggle with this and how we can work through it. And some of us even struggle with imposter syndrome, even after we have a late in life diagnosis of autism. So it's a very interesting video. And this past Tuesday, which was my birthday, by the way, I started a series, and I'm gonna have a few more coming up, uh, Christmas related, because the holidays are here. I mean, as of tonight, it's like 5 days to Santa leaves the North Pole and delivers gifts. And the first Christmas themed video I did was 10 things to make the holidays merrier. So it's some little things that can be done that will help us autistic people enjoy the holidays more. Before I go to yesterday and today's video, I do want to remind you we will be taking questions. The Q&A will be coming up. So if you have any questions about autism or autism spectrum disorder or discovering, developing, and growing your self-confidence, put them in the chat. I will be looking at the chat in a few minutes, see what we have there, and discuss that. Also, I have a big announcement tonight. Well, not real big, but it's a smaller announcement leading up to a really big announcement. So you want to stay tuned for that. So let's get back to the video review of the week. And yesterday I did a video, the 30 rights of autistic adults during the holiday season. Now, not only did I share this on my on this YouTube channel, and posted it in on my social media profiles on LinkedIn and on Facebook, as well as posted it on my website, theconfidentautistic.com. I took the text that I used for the script for the video, and that's part of the blog post on my website. But I also shared that in a couple of autistic groups that I've been in and that I'm in. And I've had over, I don't know, 500-600 reactions to the text. People love it. People are now resharing it on their social media. So if you've not seen this video or read the text of this video, which, like I said, is on my website, theconfidentautistic.com, I highly recommend it because we all have rights during the holiday season that we need to give ourselves permission to accept during the holidays. So the holidays can be an enjoyable experience for us, for who are on the spectrum, if certain aspects of the season challenge us. And finally, today I did a video, went up a couple of hours ago, I think about 2 hours ago, a sensory-friendly Christmas. And what this video talks about is kind of created for two people. For those of us who are autistic, it gives us some ideas on how we can advocate for a sensory-friendly Christmas. And in the video, I mentioned, work with the person who's organizing and planning it, and maybe even offer to help them so you can make sure it's an inclusive experience for everyone, including yourself. And if you're planning a holiday gathering, I know it's a little bit close to the Christmas days, but you still got time to make tweaks to them. Because no plan is final until the moment it begins running. And even then, you should be flexible. You can watch this video and get some ideas how to make sure your event is inclusive for autistic adults, especially you having an autistic adult joining you for whatever activity you're having, whether it be a family gathering or a office Christmas party, which I think those are pretty much done for the year. But this video will be up here as, I'm not taking you down. This video will be up here and be a great resource next year. So be looking for that as well. Now, like I said, we're going to get into the Q&A in a moment. So if you have any questions or anything, please pop them into the chat and we'll be happy to take a look at those questions. And you can tell me where you're from, where you're watching from. Love to hear that you're here. And if you have any suggestions for a video or any comments overall about what I do or questions about what I do as the Confident Autistic and my mission to empower you to embrace autism confidently, ask them. And when I say you embrace autism confidently, I'm not just talking to autistic adults. I'm talking about holistics, because part of my mission is to be an advocate for the autism community. So when I say embrace autism confidently, it means you and me. It means people who are holistics and autistics. So this could be a more inclusive world for all of us. But before we get into the Q&A, which go ahead and shoot in your questions now, let's take a recap of how our channel is growing. And again, when I say our channel, I mean yours and my channel, because this channel would not be possible if it wasn't for viewers like you and subscribers like you. So I'm very, very grateful for your support. And our channel is not just mine, because if it wasn't for you, I would be sitting here talking to myself, which is one of my stims. And frankly, I do not need to do that any more than I already do that in my everyday life. So last week we had 191 subscribers and when we began this live stream. And this week, right before we started the live stream, we made it up to 194. Now that's an increase of 3. The previous week was 5, and the week before that was double digits. Now, it's not that the channel is getting bad. No. I think it's growing. This is the time of the year that growth is going to be small. We're going to have smaller numbers and activities. So we're going to have less people subscribing. But I expect it to pick up in January. Our goal for the month of December is 250, which means we're 56 away, which I'm going to be realistic with you. I don't think we're going to make that goal this month. That's okay. Now, when I set the goal, I did it on this basis. In the month of November, we had a little over 50 subscribers. I wanted to push that to 75 this month, or close to 75. Well, I did not calculate in when I made that decision that it's going to be a slow month of growth, so it is what it is. But if we make it to 200, I'll be happy. But I expect, and I know we're going to have more growth in January, because January is a lot of fun stuff coming. Now, forget the number 4 that's in the middle of the screen. I guess I did not catch that when I was proofing it before we went live tonight, but that's okay. It shows that I'm human. And remember, this is our channel, yours and mine, and you can help the channel grow. When you watch a video, please like the video, please comment on the video, and please share the video. When you do any of those 3 things, preferably all 3, but at least one of them, it tells the YouTube algorithm, this is a great video, and then it shares it with more people, and that's how we can get this channel to grow. But the best way for you to help this channel grow is to subscribe and help this number of subscribers grow. Just hit the subscribe button. It's in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, to the right of the word grow at the bottom of the screen, and a little box will pop up and you click on subscribe. When you do subscribe, do not forget to ring the bell to be notified of new videos, which I post them new every single day at between 3 and 5 in the afternoon, Central Time most days. And when I go live, which we do this weekly live event. And there'll be other live events coming in 2025. You're going to want to stay tuned for that. The important thing to mention here is this. On the videos, that's where my thought was going to go. Yes, I'm posting new videos every day between 3 and 5 p.m. because I'm in the middle of a 90-day challenge. I challenged myself for 90 days nonstop to put one video up a day. Started on November 1st, it's December 19th. So I've done 49 videos, which means if I do the math correctly, there's 41 left. But actually, I'm going to do two more. It's going to be 43. So for the next 43 days, I'll still be posting videos every single day between 3 and 5 p.m. So once again, I do want to thank you so much for for supporting the channel. I truly appreciate your support. It means a lot to me because this is something I'm very passionate about. Uh, I'm throwing myself fully into this. I'm fully engaged in wanting to make a difference in the adult autism community, both within the community and advocating for us outside of the community. So thank you so very much for your support. Now we're going to be getting into the Q&A, and no questions have come in yet that I've seen, but that's okay. We're still going to get into this section. If you have a question, go ahead and drop them in there. I would love to answer any questions you have. We could talk about anything autistic. We could talk about the holidays. If you have any questions about dealing with the holidays as an autistic person, love to hear them. I'll try to answer them for you. Gift giving. My solution to gift giving is very simple. Two things. Amazon gift cards. Go to Amazon, buy a gift card, and let them decide what they want. Cuts down that pressure of what to get them for the holidays. There's only 3 people I actually got gifts for the holidays. One is my wife. 2 is my mom. And 3, okay, maybe there's more than 3. But some people who take care of us. This is one thing that's very important to me and my wife. People who help take care of us throughout the year, we always get them a little gift. Like the UPS store, which is where currently I'm getting my business mail at. They take great care of me. They help me return packages and all. So we get them a tin of popcorn, which is really cool because we tell them this is the only popcorn you can eat because normally they're around styrofoam popcorn they put into boxes. So it's my joke I do every single year. They so laugh. I appreciate them laughing at the same stale joke every year. And we also got some popcorn for someone who takes real good care of us and helping us, especially me, navigate the world of insurance at our local hospital. We got her a gift, a big tin of popcorn, which she has told me her daughter has devoured it. Kids love popcorn. And then, of course, for our financial advisors, we get them some cookies for them and send them up to them. And the cancer center that takes excellent care of my wife, we provide the doctor or nurse practitioner and the upstairs staff and the chemo lab staff big tins of popcorn as well. So that's kind of my Christmas thing. Anyway, so you have any questions about autism, self-confidence, or making it through the holidays as an autistic adult, I'll be getting into that with you in the chat. Before we do get into the chat section, I want to share something with you. The information in this video is for informational purposes only. For medical advice or diagnosis or therapy, please consult a professional. The advice that may be given in this video by either Chris or any other participant is their own opinions. Hashtag define yourself. The Confident Autistic, aka Chris Mitchell, should not be held responsible for any damages caused by you following any advice given during this chat. And in the chat, we have a few rules: no profanity, no political debates, no hate speech. Be respectful of others and respect each other's opinions. So I'm taking a look at the chat again. I'm not seeing anything come in, but I'm going to talk about a few things, give you a chance to maybe pop in a question. And one is Christmas is coming. It's coming in about 5 days before Santa comes. What are some of your Christmas traditions? Mine in the past have included excuse me, mine in the past have included uh, great things like I used to go to midnight mass or midnight service at my church. Don't do that too much, not in person at least, because of for various reasons. But I do enjoy doing that. But I do stream it now. Most churches stream the services now, so I do attend church via a stream online. And then there was a tradition my wife and I had for many years. We've not done it in 5 years. If you're a regular visitor to the channel, you know that my wife is battling stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. So we don't travel as much as we used to. But we used to, since we don't have kids, we used to go out of town on Christmas Eve. We would pick a city, pick a hotel, go to that hotel, and bring a big tin of popcorn. Notice a popcorn theme in our life. Then at midnight, we would exchange one gift between each other in our hotel room. Then we would go downstairs to the front desk and give the night crew that tin of popcorn and thank them for taking time away from being with the family to take care of us and all the other guests in the hotel. That was one of the traditions we used to do every single year. And the holidays, Christmas is full of traditions. Probably the season with the most traditions of all of them throughout the year. Maybe you see your child or grandchild in a Christmas pageant. There's Christmas parades. There's Christmas church services, office parties, those kind of things. And there could be traditions in your own home, like who gets to open the gifts first. In our home, when I was a child, the youngest opened first and the oldest opened last. And that was the tradition. And traditions can really be beneficial for those of us on the spectrum. Because the tradition is something that is expected, is predictable, and is a routine. And those three things we autistics crave. We crave routine. We crave predictability. We crave um, normalcy. And during a season where there could be a lot of chaos in it and a lot of our routines disrupted, traditions can help ground us and help us self-regulate through the holiday season. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing that we could do during the holidays. We traditions can be so helpful to us. My tradition now for Christmas is watching some movies. That's another tradition we do. My wife loves watching the movie White Christmas. And I love my wife very dearly. I don't care for the movie that much, but I watch it with her each year because it's a tradition, and I promised her I would do that. And the reason I don't like it that much is I don't like musicals, okay? I'm not a musical type of guy. I mean, you want to hear music? Listen to the radio. Why do you need a movie? Why do? And I don't know where to look when somebody's singing. I mean, I feel bad about just staring at them because I don't like eye contact. It makes me uncomfortable, so I don't do that. But yeah, we do have some movies we watch every year. And I mentioned one of the videos on Christmas Eve, especially when I was single. I think we still do it today. I will watch in this order The Honeymoon is Christmas, Miracle on 34th Street, and the movie Scrooged, with Scrooged ending right at midnight. And we do that because that was one of the traditions that I would do. Some of the other movies I watch traditionally during the holidays is It's a Wonderful Life. Now, I never watched that movie before my wife showed it to me, and it's black and white, and I don't like a lot of black and white stuff. It's amazing. I like the original Miracle on 34th Street, but I do. And she watched and showed it to me. I love that. It's a Wonderful Life. I look forward to that movie. Maybe we can watch it this weekend. I'm a little bit behind on watching Christmas movies this year because I've been so busy producing these videos. But that's one that I do enjoy watching. The other night, my wife and I watched Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. Nigger in it. So there's movies that we watch every single year. And then there is I'll Be Home for Christmas with I want to say Jonathan Taylor Thomas, the kid that played Randy on Home Improvement. So we watch that each year. My wife enjoys the Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen. The first two were okay. The third really, in my opinion, did not need to be made. But that's just my opinion. And I'm personally not a big Tim Allen fan. We won't get into why, but I'm just not a big fan of his. So anyway, um, those are some of the traditions we have in our home, and it does help me through the holiday season, knowing those traditions. In fact, I look forward to them. I look forward to watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Your Father Santa Claus and Charlie Brown Christmas. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. The original Frosty the Snowman. Had a friend over the other day. I like this guy. Okay, and we watched this Frosty thing. I guess they did a remake in 2005. It's like almost a movie. It's longer than a 30-minute special. I think it was like 90 minutes or something. It was on Peacock, so I don't know. I think it used to be originally on broadcast TV, and it was so different from the original that I saw, and it's like it was weird, strange. I didn't care for it that much, but hey, I'm willing to try new things. Oh, and we have one more tradition, and this is an interesting one. We haven't watched it this year. We got to watch this. Grumpy Cat's Worst Christmas Ever. It is a corny movie, okay? Someone got that for me, my mom, as a gag gift. And now every year I make my wife watch it with me. It's Grumpy's Worst Christmas Ever. And I just love doing that. Mainly it's not that great of a movie, but it's just fun to have that tradition. And it's a little bit fun to irritate people at times. It is. I probably shouldn't, but it is a little bit fun to do those things. So, uh, and we have a comment in the chat. I'm reading the chat. I got my tablet tonight because I forgot to bring my phone in. So I got my really big. I mean, this is so big. This could, you could use it to defend yourself, during a riot or whatever. Let me take a little comment here. All this increased human activity and other sensory input causes mental fatigue and shutdown. Shutdown for me. Do you notice any sensory changes as you get fatigued before shutdowns? Yes, I do. Let me turn closer to the microphone. Yes, I do. I do notice some of them. For me, is noise. That's my biggest thing that triggers me before I go into a shutdown, whether it be holiday season or any other time of the year. It is noise, and I just start feeling. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like my audio senses are being assaulted with constant noise, and to the point where I'm like I'm confused about all the sounds I'm hearing, the voices, the conversations. They just become, I don't want to say a buzzing sound because it's not a buzzing sound, but it becomes one giant noise. And it gets to the point that I just like, I've had enough. And if I don't give myself a break from it, and put on noise canceling headphones, leave the room, ask my wife to turn down the TV, bury my head underneath several pillows, anything like that, I will go into a shutdown. I usually go into shutdowns more than meltdowns. I have meltdowns, but I consider them micro meltdowns because I don't like steam build up. I will get to a point where I'm getting stressed out, anxious, whatever, sensory overload, and I'll start snapping at people. And those are like my little meltdowns. And they're a warning sign to my wife that if I don't do these little meltdowns and get snappy at times and try to be really polite and neurotypical, we're going to have a really big meltdown. And those are not fun. Those are scary for me, for my wife, for everyone. I mean, I've had meltdowns in my life where I've been recommended to see psychiatric counseling in a mental health facility, and a few times I've taken that offer up. So my meltdowns can get pretty bad at times. But yeah, to answer your question, when the sensory overload, I can kind of see it's getting more and more and more and more, and and I know I'm going to have a meltdown, and I know I also have control over this. That when I start seeing this pattern of these um, sensory overloads, I have the option in many cases to do something about it, to try to find a way to relieve that stress or get away from that sensory input or take a break from it. And that's a choice I need to make, and I do as often as I can. I bring my needle ball with me, and I play with that to kind of distract me during times of intense noise. Or I have blue headphones that are Bluetoothed, and not only do they block out the noise, but I will connect it to my phone or my tablet, and I will play music that I find really relaxing. In fact, right now, while I'm chatting with you, I have my headphones on, and not because of feedback or anything. Well, it could be a little bit, but I have my headphones on and I'm listening to this Christmas music because that helps me relax. It helps me stay regulated. So yeah, I do see the increase in my sensory overload. Um, it happening, and I know a meltdown's coming on, but I've also learned to notice these patterns and take appropriate actions whenever possible to either prevent or at least delay or weaken the strength of a meltdown. And that helps me get through the holiday season and through the entire year. Now, well, I'm going to check the chat in a moment again to see if there's any other comments or questions. But I would like to take this opportunity to tell you that I will be here next Thursday night at 7 p.m. That's Boxing Day for those of you outside of the United States. And that's 7 p.m. Central Time here in the States. But that's the day after Christmas because you may need a chance to decompress, a chance to regulate. And I'm going to be here doing one of these chats. And we could talk about your Christmas. We could talk about what worked, what didn't work. You know, kind of like a debriefing. Because when we go through something in our lives and it, causes us anxiety, stress, a meltdown, sensory overload, whatever, it's a good idea to do a debrief, even if it's with yourself, to learn from it. So maybe if you're in a similar situation, you can be better prepared for it, react to it better, and maybe have less of a meltdown or even prevent a meltdown. So we're going to be doing that next week. I also plan to, for the first time on these Confident Autistic lives that I do Thursday nights, ask Chris anything things that I do, excuse me, that I do from my office using Zoom software to open up the Zoom room. And I don't have the link ready right now. I'll have it ready tomorrow. And I will post it into the video description here, and it'll also be in the community tab on my YouTube channel, where you can actually join me in the Zoom room. And if you're up to it and you feel comfortable, you don't have to have a camera on. In fact, when you come in, all cameras are off, all microphones are off. But you'll have an opportunity, if you're comfortable with it, sharing any gift that you got for Christmas, especially a gift that was sensory friendly that you really loved. Because what we could do from this, if we can learn about other sensory gadgets out there, and that could be a benefit to somebody who watches the video either live or an archive. So that's going to be next week. That's kind of the big announcement I have for right now. Also, 2025 is going to be an awesome year. And if you can't make it next Thursday night, I hope you have safe travels. We're not done. I'm going to get to the chat. I know another message came in. But I will be back on January 2nd, the Thursday after New Year's. And we'll be talking about goals for 2025 because we don't want to set resolutions. We want to set goals. So we're going to talk about that night, as well as have Q&A. And if you haven't noticed already, we're going to start having themes to these live events. And of course, we're focusing on the theme, and we'll still have our Q&A session, open Q&A, but we're going to be doing themes in them. So that's going to be something coming, and some more great stuff coming in 2025, which I will be telling you about on January 2nd. So mark your calendars. Next week's going to be our Christmas one, Christmas debrief, and then January 2nd is going to be 2025 goals that we could share, and we could talk about the importance of it, and both will have our general Q&A session. Now, let me kill my little strap on here got broken, so I got to be real careful. My new case is going to come in tomorrow, so I just got to pick this up carefully. I'm going to take a look at the chat one more time and see what we got coming in. And I usually notice the outdoor bird noises get too loud, and if I don't recovery time, I guess means if you don't make time to recover from it or give yourself time to recover from it, I suddenly can hear everything at once and shut down for about 90 minutes. That's interesting. I'm glad you shared that with me. My shutdowns, Could be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes to a couple of hours. And mine are a little bit hard for me because I have people around me that will ask me questions and I still kind of have to interact with them. I mean, it's hard, but I will push through it. But during that shutdown, I'm more withdrawn and quiet during that time. But it's interesting. The birds outside. Um, Birds outside. I don't have that. Well, let me explain why. I don't have a problem with that because we got some really kick butt windows in this house that eliminates practically every sound outside. The only sound I can hear from the outside are, I think, three. One, one, the tornado siren. I live in a part of the country. I live in Missouri, and across the street from our house is a giant tornado siren. I can hear that. So that I can hear. Two, when the lawn care people come by and they're mowing, I can hear that off in the distance. And three, I can occasionally hear briefly the garbage truck or school bus drive by. And of course, when the house is getting pelted by hail, I can hear that. Otherwise, I don't hear a lot of outside noises. Let me take that back. There's one more that I do hear, and those are firecrackers on the 4th of July, and a little bit on New Year's, and Friday nights in September, October, November, because I live somewhat close to a high school and this Friday night football is really big here in this area. So I hear those and those sounds, I mean, they get to me, but I can block them out. My major sensory issue is more like TV or conversations or crowds talking around me, multiple people talking to me. Nature does not seem to bother me that much. I'm not judging you or anything. You're just comparing it and wanting to use this as an illustration for everyone who's watching this. Each autistic person experiences autism uniquely. Where the sound of a bird may trigger some of us to want to go for a shutdown, the sound of a lot of noise of people talking can trigger us to going to shut down. Or in my case, again, I love the people I live with. I live with my wife. That's a good thing. You're married, you should, if at all possible. And my mom lives shares a house with us. And my wife and my mom both like watching TV. I'm not a big TV person. So I have two TVs on 24 hours a day in this house. It drives me batty. But that's just me. And like I said, each of us experience autism differently. Let's see. The last thing that came in the chat is, did your meltdowns reduce in intensity as you got older? I usually go directly to shutdown now. My meltdowns have, that's a good question. Because I did mention earlier, I don't know if you were here for or not, I did a video this week about why do we feel more autistic at times than at other times. And as we age, we may feel more autistic because life gets more challenging. And because of that, we may have more meltdown, shutdowns, other reactions to life. And which is not uncommon when you age because life gets more complicated, there's more stress on you. You may have more physical health issues, more concerns. One of my big meltdowns that I'm going through right now, or at least challenges, is understanding insurance and Medicaid and all that other stuff. Oh man, I don't get it. I don't get it. Just it's beyond me. I don't get insurance. But getting back to your question, let me read it again because I kind of forgot what it was. Did your meltdowns reduce in intensity as you got older? Generally, yes, but there's been a few contributing factors. My last really big meltdown 5 years ago, was it five? Maybe six. 6 years ago. It happened over an incident that I had with uh, a member of a group, a Toastmasters club in this area, and it got out of hand. I overreacted to some stuff. I let stuff get to me, and I shouldn't have, and I had a major meltdown, and it was a big mess. I don't want to go into all of it because it's in the past and needs to stay in the past. Now, since then, I have not had any really big meltdowns until this year. Now, a contributing factor has been COVID. Because of COVID, we went into lockdown. And we went into lockdown primarily originally for my health because I have a constricted aorta. So I'm a heart patient and I also a survivor of an incomplete spinal cord injury. So I'm technically paralyzed from the waist down. Technically, I say, because I do walk, but I have to use a rollator or some other mobility devices to get around. So we hunkered down for that. Then, as COVID was starting to relax and the restrictions were starting to relax, my wife came down with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. Actually, not came down with it; she was diagnosed with it. So we are still hunkering down because she's now immune compromised. So I don't get into situations that cause meltdowns. And most of my meltdowns are caused when I'm out in public, which is really, I'd rather have meltdowns at home. But so mine have decreased. But this fall, I had an epic meltdown. I talked about it a while ago. In fact, in some ways, I think it was worse than my meltdowns I had before. We had and we don't get into politics on here because when you do, you lose 50% of the audience. But I will say this: we have three people that live in this house, and we have different political beliefs. And one of the people who lives in this house put up a political sign in the front yard without consulting other members of this household. And this member of this household, who disagreed but respects the right to that opinion, had an epic meltdown, screaming, yelling, cussing, throwing things. Got so mad and frustrated. My hair was really long at the time. I grabbed my hair and I started chopping it off with scissors. And 2 months afterwards, you could still see the damage I did to my hair during that meltdown and screaming. And I mean, it lasted, I don't know, about 8 hours of a meltdown into the middle of the night. And it was horrible. So, yeah, they generally have died down as I've gotten older, but there have been contributing factors because normally they are caused by external forces, things outside of the house. Now, we had one this year that was like, well, I guess you could say outside the house because that's where the sign was, but it happened at home and it really caused me to have an epic meltdown. So, to answer your question, I don't know if that's typical. If the meltdowns get easier as you get older or if they get harder, I think it depends on the person. For my case, the reason I cannot answer specifically is it has been affected by COVID and my health and my wife's health, and putting those as priorities and staying away from environments that really get to me and cause me to be overwhelmed about things and all. And the meltdown that I had this year, let me kind of explain a little bit more. The sign was the epiphany of it. There was a lot of other stuff that added on to it. The stress of my wife's cancer, the stress of finances as we go through cancer, and all the noise of the TVs on 24 hours a day and all, and all of the anxiety I was under, that we normally are under with autism, that was even escalated more because of other circumstances that contributed to it, and me not finding appropriate ways or even knowing appropriate ways to release some of that tension before it became a meltdown. So I think it depends on the person, to be honest. Some people the meltdowns may get better, some will get worse. And then there may be times in your life that your meltdowns are really, really intense. And then it dips down, they're not that bad at all. Then bam, they go back up again and down. I think it also depends on the triggers of it, how much things have been going on before that trigger. Because I could be around a lot of noise for a while and I just go, I got to shut down. And then there's sometimes I could be around the same amount of noise or even a little bit less. And I just say, I've had it. That's it. I start screaming at people and having a meltdown and all of that. But what else has happened is I had that noise. I've had maybe an unpleasant conversation with a friend, or a conversation or a friendship that is I don't understand at this point and is causing me more anxiety, all that stuff. So I think it depends on the person and what contributes to it. I don't think there's going to be a really straight answer on do they get better or worse as you age. It depends on the person, contributing factors, whole bunch of things. But of the two, I'm going to share mine. And if you want to share your answer to this, it'll be fine. Which do you prefer to have, a meltdown or a shutdown? Personally, I would rather have a shutdown because of the fact that they're less embarrassing for me. My meltdowns are really big, they're really embarrassing. They're usually in public, and then I am so embarrassed to be around people or the people I had a meltdown around that sometimes I'll avoid them for months or years. So I would rather have a shutdown. But if you could choose, which would you rather have? A meltdown or a shutdown? While I'm waiting, because I know there's a delay here. While I'm waiting, I'm going to take a drink and give you a little clue of what's coming up in the next couple of days of videos. And one of them is going to be a video on, let me make sure I don't knock this over. One of the videos is going to be a video on how to deal with loneliness during the holidays as an autistic adult. And this is something that's I believe is a real problem. I know that this holiday in our culture here in the United States is often kind of drilled into our minds. We should be around people, we should be at family gatherings, office Christmas parties, and a lot of these things those of us in the spectrum tend to shy away from because they're not always inclusive. We have sensory issues, whatever. So we may feel more alone during the holidays, be either by choice or by force, or that we don't have that many friends to go and hang out with. Whatever the cause is, we experience loneliness. And I want to do a video on this and how we can work through that loneliness during the holiday season, because the reality of it is the holiday season is an increased risk for suicide. I'm sorry, that's a trigger warning. I should have done that earlier, but it is a high risk for suicide for everyone. And the leading cause of death for autistics is suicide. This is a very important topic to me. So I'll be doing a video on this in the next day or two. We'll be going live on how to handle that loneliness that we feel at Christmas. I mean, you see people, you hear, oh, yeah, I'm going to have a great Christmas. I'm going to go visit my family in California or whatever, right? And you're sitting there thinking, well, I'm going to be at home alone on Christmas and I don't have any family, or I don't want to be at the family things because it's so sensory overwhelming, or because I'm autistic, I'm having trouble with my relatives accepting it or whatever. And you can get into that loneliness mode and it can be a very dark time, a very sad time. So I want to do a video on that. I remember a year, and I could do the research for it. I remember a year, every Thanksgiving actually, and I was sitting in my one bedroom apartment alone. This is before I met my wife and all. And I just felt one of the loneliest moments of my life. And I remember that night because that night, this was odd. ER, I loved ER, was on. And they aired a brand new episode that night, which was really fascinating because I would have thought they would have had a repeat Thanksgiving night, but they had a new episode. So that stuck in my mind. But normally, you're alone during the holidays and you maybe want to turn to the TV or whatever, or radio, listen to watch a TV show, or back in my day, listen to the radio, listen to your favorite DJ, so you don't feel so alone. And all they have is repeats. All they're doing is playing music, no jocks. Makes you feel even more alone. So, I want to do a video on this. I'm going to do a video on it, and it will be up before the holidays. So I'll be watching for that. And also, I got a couple of fun videos coming up. Well, one fun video coming up. I won't tell you what it's about. I don't want to spoil the fun. But I got a fun video coming up that revolves around a snack that many autistics like eating, surprisingly. And there's a reason for it. So we're going to go into that. And today, December 19th, 6 months ago today, I received confirmation from a psychologist of my suspicions that I'm on the spectrum. So I'm going to be doing a video in the next few days reflecting upon how the first 6 months after receiving a diagnosis, how that's affected my life, how that changed my life, how it made it better for me, how it challenged me. So that video will be coming up in the next few days as well. Now, let's go take one more look at the chat. Okay, I know one comment came in. And the comment reads, I think I experienced more shutdowns because I have managed to avoid and suppress meltdowns. Good for you. Because I would love to do that because my meltdowns, like I say, are epic. I would like the release of a meltdown if it is privately. I totally agree. I can deal with a meltdown if it's private. I mean, to the point that my wife's not even exposed to it. I would like it to be that private of a meltdown. But I totally agree. I'm with you on that. I wish I did do better with shutdowns and meltdowns, but I'm not. I was born with multiple disabilities, and throughout my life, I've been a fighter. Somebody asked me, how did I survive 59 years of life, or 58 and a half years of life, as an autistic without any real support? And my answer to that person in a discussion I was in this week is because I'm a fighter. I was born with a constricted aorta. I'm legally blind. I'm born with cataracts, speech impediments, all this other stuff against me, but I never gave up. I was determined. I'm a fighter. So when I get cornered and when I have overwhelmed, my natural instinct is not to shut down. My natural instinct is to come out punching. Maybe not physically, but you know what I mean. By fighting it, by having a meltdown, by expressing myself. And that is who I am. And those meltdowns have become very epic. In fact, there's been one or two times I've been invited. Okay, let's see, one, two, three, four. Four times I've been invited to seek education elsewhere during my academic career. And that started in second grade and ended the second time I was asked to seek education elsewhere when I was in college, when I was very, very close to getting my AS and my AA degree. So I'm very close to graduating. Never did. I kind of wish I had, but college isn't for everyone. I realize that. And I wish I could go into shutdown mode and all. But there are times I went into shutdown mode and my wife's with me and it frustrates the heck out of her because she'll ask me, what's wrong? Nothing. Or I won't say anything at all. And she gets really peeved about that. So it's just one of those little things that I go through at times. In a way, I know I said I would prefer a shutdown over a meltdown, and I do. But I also think, in a way, sometimes the meltdowns are good because it lays out all the stuff we have pent up inside ourselves. So I can't see a benefit to the meltdowns, but yeah, I would if I got to have one, I'd rather have it privately. I've had them in stores. I've had them I've had way too many of them in hospitals and doctors' offices. In fact, I've also been asked a couple of times to seek health care elsewhere from a couple of doctors because of my meltdowns and my behavior. And to preface this was way before anyone knew I was on the spectrum. So yeah, meltdowns are really hard. I think I would rather have shutdowns. I guess people would still get a little bit upset at me with the shutdown, but I think they would be less upset at me for getting really quiet and shutting down than me having a meltdown, yelling, screaming, and for around a lot of people and scaring kids and all. I think they would rather me do a shutdown. So I'd like to thank everyone for participating in the Q&A tonight. It has been wonderful having all of you here, and I've enjoyed this time that we've had together. And we do this every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Time here in the United States. And like I said, we will be doing this next Thursday night. And I will have a link to the Zoom room where you can join me right here in my Zoom room, which Zoom's right down at the bottom of the screen there. And we can share what we received on Christmas. Or if you're comfortable, we'll be happy to do that. Be a chance to kind of decompress, I guess you could say, or regroup after the hectic holiday season. So if you're able to make it next Thursday night, great. If you're traveling somewhere for the holidays, and let's get into this. If you have any great plans that you want to share that you're going to be doing on Christmas holiday, go and put them in the chat. I'm going to share mine, and then I'll check the chat one more time, and then we'll wrap it up. I'm going to be spending Christmas at home with my wife, just me and my wife. We don't have any kids, therefore there's no kids, there's no grandchildren. My mom does live with us, and we don't make a real big thing out of Christmas. I mean, we decorate and all. It used to be a bigger decoration thing, but our health is preventing some of that now, but it's okay. We have some decorations in the front yard, some lights. We had inflatables, but one of them got taken out by weather, and we don't want to turn it on and start a fire. So our snowman got damaged by water, and it doesn't work well. And also Frosty bit the dust in this fall, so I got to get a new inflatable. And so we have that going on. We have a nice decorated tree, but we used to decorate the house more. I kind of miss that, but hey, it is what it is. I'm just grateful that we're still all alive and healthy. And on Christmas Day, we have the four P's: pizza, popcorn, pumpkin pie, and Pepsi. Those are the four P's that we have on Christmas Day. We do the same thing on Thanksgiving. At midnight on Christmas Eve, I usually give my wife one gift, and she'll give me one gift, and then, or we or we open all of them at midnight because we'd rather do it privately, not in front of my mom, or if my nephew and his family come by. Some years they do. They have three wonderful kids. One of them's on the spectrum, and so we just do ours a little bit more privately that way, and that's fine. And then we just watch Christmas movies throughout the day. So, nothing really big. We just stay at home, hang out. It's a little bit, and we will call my in-laws, my father-in-law. But it's a little bit sad because the holidays is supposed to be about being around family and stuff. And we just don't have that much family. And I'm not really that connected to my family. I do have family members. My nephew lives down the street from me, and I have a cousin who lives one block to the east of me. And we have other family in this area, but my family, the Mitchell family, we just don't really connect that well. We just don't. We're nice people, but we're nice people when we're not together. It works better that way. So that's pretty much my Christmas plans, and I'll be posting new videos that day, so you want to check those out. You're very welcome for the talk and for answering the questions. And I hope you have a good holiday as well. I hope everyone has a great holiday. And if you can't make it next Thursday, have a wonderful holiday. You're traveling, be safe while traveling. Hopefully, if you're wanting a white Christmas, you get a white Christmas. I would like white Christmas, but our forecast shows we're going to be in the 50s or 60s on Christmas Day here. So I don't think we're going to have a white Christmas this year. So, oh well, maybe next year. And if you can't make it next week, don't forget we'll be back here on Thursday, January 2nd to kick off the new year, and every Thursday going onward at this point. Now I'm kind of thinking we may take a poll and find out if there's a better day that you all like me to do this on. So for the time being, it's going to be on Thursdays. And don't forget, like I said, next week we're going to have that Zoom room available. And I will have a link to that to get to register to be in that Zoom room. I'll have that link up by tomorrow afternoon in the community area on on um, on my YouTube channel. Or you can go to my website, theconfidentautistic.com. And on that site, let me see if I can show it to you. I think I can. Let me do this. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. Yeah, because I was moving something over. That's the chat window and all. Here we go. So if you go to my site, let me get this big here. And up at the top, you put in your name and your email address. You get this free gift of 31 affirmations for your confident autistic life. And you also be subscribed to my newsletter. And if you can do that, before noon Central Time, Friday, December 20th, you will receive an email with a link to register for that event Friday afternoon. Now, if you do it after Friday at noon, don't worry. I'll send out another link with that a little bit closer to the actual event. So, hoping to see you next week or the week after. If not, have a wonderful and safe holiday season. Thank you for checking this out tonight. I really appreciate it. And have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating. This year, Hanukkah starts on Christmas night. So Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, or any other holiday you're celebrating during this holiday season. Have a fun one. And just remember, check out your Bill of Rights as an autistic adult that you have during the holiday season. And I will see you next week. Until then, this is the Confident Autistic reminding you that now is the time, even though it's the holiday season, now is still the time for you to start embracing your autism confidently.